Right, it is. Good morning. It is 8:32 on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, and this meeting of the Sandpoint Arts, Culture, and Historic Preservation Commission is now called to order. The record, I am Chairwoman Ellie Sussness, presiding in City Council Chambers and City Hall, 1123 Lake Street in Sandpoint, Idaho. Commission members who are present are Barry Burgess, Carol Diener, Vice Chair Kate McAllister, Rick Decker, Will Valentine. The commissioner who is absent is Caitlin Shook. We have Jason Welker here, our staff liaison, and we have Justin Dick, our council liaison with us. Did I miss anybody? Oh, and you need to put Dara on the list. Dara Collison is here as well. All right. We will now proceed with the approval of the minutes from the commission's last meeting. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the regular meeting of September 9th, 2025. So moved. Kate has moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Is seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? None heard. Motion passes. All right, onward to the financial report. I have the financials from last time because I think that those are current. I think Sura did not have a meeting this month. So, all right, so we'll go with these numbers. They may have changed slightly, but this will work. The downtown district, we have $221,340.32. Northern district, $119,116.95. Any questions on that? Let's move on then. Let's move on to number 3, the Big Valley Can Wrap Selection Planning Discussion. So we're still in planning because we still have to talk to Central Services as far as getting the matrix set up for the selection panel. And also, you were going to check on the funding from STCU.
This is what we have left over. Email I just shared with you.
Okay.
From our reps. Any additional funding, I think we're gonna have to reach out to Puppy.
Okay.
And I said, that's her name at STCU.
Okay.
She's kind of the sort of thing.
Okay.
So there's $1,500 available now. Sure what the wraps cost. They cost.
I think.
Who did you use to actually print them?
Well, we used Busy Beaver at the time we printed the utility boxes. There's a few more companies in town now that would get quotes from.
Yeah.
I don't think it would exceed 1,400.
We got that sitting
Okay.
in the account.
Awesome.
Budget, so we can pay for it right after that. So if you get a couple quotes, send them my way, and if we get one for under 1,500 or 1,462, we'll go with that, and you can just have the invoice sent to me, and I'll get it paid. If we don't get a quote for that much, we'll need to maybe contact STCU, verify the balance, or Sarah for a few $100s to finish paying for it.
Okay, that sounds great.
Kelly, were you thinking about going with 4D with Aaron over there?
It's possible, yes. He's my go-to,
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, if he wants to, that's a little deal. Few things about logo on there as well, but that might be a little sponsorship benefit for
Great. And just so you know, 4D Auto Wraps is the one that did the mural at and some other projects at Russell.
him.
Yeah.
They're gonna do the spot bus advertising too. They're gonna wrap the spot bus as well.
Where the other companies in town to do.
Well, Tamarack, who was Busy Beaver does them, and then there's also Turner. Yeah, no, we went from 0 rat people in town to lots of great rat people in town, so that's exciting. We've got lots of options. And so because the cold weather has come on pretty fast, I think that we're just gonna have to do the install in the spring. So that gives us time to get the actual selection situation figured out. I think that meeting's gonna be a couple hours for us because there's 94 submissions.
How many?
94.
94, yeah.
Oh,
That's gonna take a long
yeah.
time. Oh, I'm sorry.
And as far as like getting that matrix, the selection matrix together, we have had central services help us with that, and I know that they're stretched a little thin right now, so if there's any way that we can, as a commission, volunteer or something, get that together and then have you guys have staff approve it, we could do that, or we just need to schedule with them so that we can make a plan.
How many pieces do we need? You know,
Just we need two.
two, just, we're just gonna use two.
Two. Well, oh, and we have to remember that the stipend has to come out of that 1,500 as well. So,
What's the second?
I think we said $150 each. We'll have to double check.
A lot of
Yeah.
money for little kids.
Yeah. We'll have to double check. I could be wrong.
I
could
know,
be wrong.
right? It'd be-
For something you drew.
Yeah,
it'd be-
that's pretty
it'd
great.
be million.
That's, we love to promote our artists. so that's
My
what-
daughter muralling at this entire town, and there was a financial incentive behind it.
You're gonna draw shit.
She's already got a thing on the moose by the Cedar Street Bridge. Like, she's the publisher.
Oh, very good, very good. Okay, is there any other questions on that? I think we're moving along and it's a good winter project for do the selection and all that. And just be prepared to do a nice install. All right, let's move on then to the Lake Monterey wooden sign refurbish and placement discussion. Carol. Oh, you have a report.
I don't know if you all saw the piece that's behind the museum. That I can't, I'm trying to decide, which piece I'm talking about. It's about 6 feet, 7 feet tall.
It's actually 8 feet tall.
I think it's 8 feet tall, and it's the river. It's installed originally at the Chamber of Commerce, and it was, then it got damaged or something
Chains
fell.
broke,
The thing broke, so they just left it there, I guess.
put it in the back,
Put it
because
in the
nobody
back.
would come repair the chains.
Yeah, somebody in the back, and then Will found it behind the museum. And so I looked at it.
The state Chamber of Commerce asked the museum if we might be interested.
Oh, that's what, I'm sorry.
So we
Yeah,
got,
that's right. Went and got it. It's behind the museum. And it's a piece of art that I trying to find out when it was done. I can't. I've done everything I can. It probably was put up maybe in the 1980s, maybe at the East. So I got an artist to come over and look at it to see if it's a painting of the river. Got an artist to look at it and see what she thought about it. And she, her husband also is a contractor and so she took it home. She
Good.
put it in her pickup truck, took it home, they analyzed it. They would cost probably $2,000 or $3,000 to get it back to what it was originally. It's a big piece, like Will said, and it's just not worth it. I don't think it's in really bad shape. It's cracked. It's about this thick. It's cracked. And it's, unfortunately, it's one of those pieces that you have to look at and say, I loved you, baby, but not anymore. I don't know how else to say it, but, do recommend we do with it though, is, the shack, what they call it, I can't remember now.
Martha's.
Yes, there's a wall there. It's faces the the park, and it's about 8 feet tall. And this piece is, it's still viewable. I think that I can find out some information on it, that we should have it hung over there. Let people look at it, because it's cracked and
It's vintage.
it's vintage, it's a vintage piece. Think that people be doing some more research for me, but the vintage piece, I think it should be hung up there until it dies.
Would the wall hold it though?
Yes,
It will?
yeah. He or her husband went with me, the carpenter contractor, said that it would be fine hung there. It's really heavy.
Yeah.
So you just let me know what you want to do with it.
What all was entailed in that?
It has to be stripped, it has to be repainted. Yeah, and also it's cracked. So he said, if you want that kind of thing, we have to put part of the new board on it and new board, but the board in the back.
So if you were gonna hang it independently,
Yeah.
it's.
And also, I think it'll hang up there, but it'll be on the ground a little bit stable. So what do you want to do with it? I mean, it's like when people do art pieces like Ally and other pieces, you have to remember that you have to help take care of it. And one of the things that we've had a real problem with in this town is keeping it here. It probably wasn't, I don't know, I wish I could find out more about it.
So it's an all or nothing.
Well, yeah,
Well, so.
no, not all or nothing, I'm sorry. It's my recommendation is that we just hang it up there, sit for a while, and let people look at it. But the paint, if anybody touches it, the paint will just fall off of it. So it's got
So you couldn't put a clear coat over the top of it?
That's what I was thinking.
clear coat. By the time she painted it, clear coated, it'd be about probably $300 or $400 in paint.
I think
I
even
don't
clear
think it's-
coating it would give it some protection.
It's just, if you looked at it, it's in really bad shape, you guys. I wish I had,
It's pretty
I had
rough.
a
I went
picture.
and looked at it.
but
It was pretty rough. I went over and
did you that?
looked
Yeah,
at it
you know what
myself.
I'm talking
Yeah, I
about.
was kind of surprised how a lot of the wood was like literally like degrading, like
Yeah.
biodegrading in place.
Yeah, he told me, yeah, that's what he told me. He
Long
says,
list.
Carol, there's places that the wood's just gonna fall off. It's just all, it's been sitting someplace for a long, long time, and it's just it's just unfortunate. It was a very lovely piece at one time, but
Does
it's,
the museum have an interest in
but
keeping it?
no.
I don't
They
know.
don't.
I talked to the museum about it, so they would, they don't want anything. They don't know, they don't want it. With you.
One thought, since it's already over there, would it be worth putting up somewhere over by the Arboretum? There's some spots where there's trees that have been cut down and you can see the chain link fence
It's not
over
at
to the wastewater.
it's not at the museum anymore.
Oh, it's not, okay.
Where is it
Back
now?
behind there.
I don't know, it disappeared.
Well, if the artist took it to look at it,
He
it's
took
probably still at their house.
She didn't tell me that, but I'll find out.
Okay,
I bring it here and you all could look at it.
sure.
It's just, it's sad. It's really sad when a piece of art was done in that period of time that is finally had its life. And it's unfortunate. I mean, if we covered it, he said, the wood's rotted. That's the problem. And even if we did, because I asked him about doing that, he said, well, it's not worth it, Carol. It's not worth spending your money on.
Well, and we can't spend Sura money to restore it either. So, if we did feel like we wanted to restore it, we would have to find funds from some other source. So what are the options? Put it up City Beach in its vintage condition? That's one option. Justin
Yeah,
suggesting
so
that it go at the park.
if you walk down there on the very south side of the museum, there where some of those trees have been cut down. You look straight through where there used to be some blockage and you just didn't see the wastewater treatment center
Oh.
plant right there. Now you just see the chain link fence, right? And you're looking right at those back buildings. I was figuring if it was already there, figure out if somebody could build a stand for it or something. And you could kind of put it there to cover a little bit of an eyesore, and it gets a lot of walking traffic back there. I guess one other thought too, would it be worth any art programs in any of the schools take this on as a project? On a rehab project,
It's,
other than its size,
and no, well, it's 8 feet tall.
when
It's,
storage is gonna be a huge
yeah,
thing.
storage, and also if you put up, I mean, I'd love to put it someplace.
Mhm.
Okay, but if you put up against the fence or by the fence, it's a very, it's a, it doesn't have a bottom, it doesn't have a, you know, any kind, you'd have to build cement thing to put it in on, and it can be very knocked over very easily. It's just this thick. And it's in bad shape. I mean, I was gonna bring it here, but they saw it. Okay. You could see it. When you could see it, you'd see that it's really in pretty bad shape. But I feel bad. This wasn't taken care of. And probably it never was, probably appropriately, they painted it. They didn't think they wanted to put it where they put it. And they didn't do anything about it to make it weatherproof. It's obvious. It's just paint.
Mhm.
When it's the paint, if you touched it, the paint peels right off. Oh, so you want me to bring a picture of it? in?
Imagine, kind of reminded me of like,
Okay, here's a picture of it.
imagine a 40-year-old fence in the backyard of South Sandpoint.
Yeah, I just don't
Cause
think.
I have one in my backyard of South Sandpoint. That's pretty much the condition it's in. It's like
Yeah.
all kind of warped and
What do you
very
think?
dried
I
out.
mean, I don't know. It's,
well, my other thought, maybe, either a call for art, you know, to restore it with a small stipend. You know, we've got a lot of, I was just thinking about the guy who did the mural on my place. Or the other one, Corey from Earlwood, down on the corner of First and, Church. Right, I could see somebody laying that down, sanding it out, epoxying it. You know, to fill in the holes, or replacing some of those pieces of wood, or shoring it up might be an idea. And Corey's got a big old shop. I mean, it might be something that we'd want to run by him. I appreciate where you guys are at. I know it's in shape too, but I love it. I think it would be a great piece somewhere, or it'd be a great project for somebody.
um, it's not a good school project.
Yeah, I understand the
It's
storage
not
is gonna
school.
be.
It's not school, it's not a good school project.
But
This one-
would you guys allow me to at least run it by Corey from Burlwood and see, just because he's got everything to pick it up, haul it, move it around, if we know where it's at?
Where is it?
Well, I think Mama must still have it. If they took it, she must still have it.
Well, I can, let me. You wanna research that? Is that what you wanna do?
Yeah, just I'll.
Let me know
couple
what-
Pictures, or if you
well-
guys can email me, you send me over this slide, and then, let me just at least shoot it over to him, see if
Slide
he's got
looks
any
good.
work of it, yeah.
The slide looks good. It's rotting. Whatever you want, if you wanna try to save it, you know, I believe in art.
Yeah, no, I get it. It'll be a tough one way or another. If he says yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
If he says no, then we go. We'll get a Census, and see where the group wants to go. with
They
it.
said about 3,000 by the time they got it all. The artist painting it all over again.
Sure.
That's what it takes. And then, you know, it's like a piece of art. It is a piece of art.
Yeah.
So,
So if we couldn't get somebody to do it, then it just gets scrapped. Is that what we're saying?
no, we want to hang it on the wall.
Then it would be Mark's.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
We want to
Gotcha.
hang it there. People look at it. We're gonna have a story about it. So people can read about as much as I can find out about it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm totally up for that.
You know, so that's where it's
Yeah,
gonna
why
go.
don't we plan on doing that if we've got consensus, but let me have Corey take a look at it and see if it'd be something that he'd be interested in, at least just weatherproofing it maybe.
Right.
When we get it down there, so it does give us a few extra years or whatever it might. Unless you guys like the weather look of it, have it naturally fall apart.
I don't know if I want to mount it to the snack shack, if it's gonna continue to fall apart.
See, that's what I
That's
was.
kind of a maintenance thing.
You gotta
If
have
there-
it.
if there's a plan to have it.
Okay, that sounds like a good
Okay, so
plan.
then You need to raise some money, or is he, would he do that for,
Yeah, let me chat with him and just see what his interest level is.
I'll go find out where it is.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
All right, we don't need a vote for that, just continuing this process, do we?
I don't think so, huh?
Great. Any other questions on that? All right, let's move on then to. Oh, yeah, sure.
If you're gonna take a picture and show it to him, I would probably take a picture of it, actually what it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think
I
I
thought I
probably
got-
field his, gauge his interest.
And again, Tori at Burlwood did quite a few projects at the Russell Center, and he does excellent work.
All the benches out there, didn't he?
Well, moving on then, the street lamp banner program or planning discussion. All right, so some of the things I did this month is I was in contact with the chair, Eric Paul. And he is of the opinion that the banners don't meet the criteria of permanent public art. So, there's that as far as budget goes. However, I did briefly speak with the mayor and let him know that, and he thought that there be some money somewhere that we could move forward with this project. I don't know what that is exactly. We did not have an in-depth discussion on that. I did do some more research. I went downtown and counted how many lampposts have the little holders. And there is 51 along North First and Cedar. Those are the only lampposts that have holders for banners, which is plenty. I mean, that's 50 on the main drag, which I think is appropriate. I also
There's quite a few around like Farm and Park too,
they don't have
and
holders.
Church Street.
I didn't see any holders.
We only did
The
down,
Live Give 7B campaign had them. And more than just First and Cedar. They had
I
them
didn't
around.
see, I,
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Because the chamber was the one who lobbied for the banner rods. And we could only afford, because they wanted to get them at the same time that they put the lamps up. And so some of them had already been put up, but then when it came to First and Cedar, they hadn't been put up. So we campaigned to have the rods put on for things like this
yeah,
many years ago. And so those were really the,
it does look
There
like,
weren't any
it-
from previous rounds of revitalization, though. Blocks.
no, and it does look like it was done in two phases, because there are
Yeah.
two different kinds of holders and they're
Yeah.
two different sizes.
when we did that.
However, so I figured out the size that will fit both of them is 18 wide by 30 tall.
Thinking of the flower,
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
thinking about the flower bracket.
yeah, they look similar.
Yeah,
And I
but
think the flowers just came down, so I saw it and do one the other day. I thought, oh, there's where you can hang a banner.
yeah, the ones that hold the banners
We-
are the two horizontal.
Yeah.
Holders as opposed to the horizontal that split the,
I think you can see both in that picture.
oh, yeah. So anyway, did do a little more research and I had to do.
Yep.
Stop. It's gonna be a good day for me. Yes, stop.
There we go, okay.
So there are definitely, this is at Farm and Park. There's flowers, and there's the banner. So there are some outside of.
Okay,
First.
those are huge though,
Those
those
are
are really
really-
tall.
Those were used by the 7B campaign last year, though.
The one I saw had a farmer's market banner on it.
That's what I was gonna say. I
Yes.
think adds farmer's market banner on it.
It's like twice as tall,
Again.
so.
You're getting closer.
I'm
You're
looking
getting-
You're gonna get
I'm looking.
April.
I thought I saw those 7B campaigns outside of First Avenue.
I mean,
Okay, just-
so the bottom line is, if you want them on other lampposts, we could certainly do that. However, we have to buy the bracket.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Let's focus on where we have.
Yeah.
But 51.
yeah. So there's 51 on North First and Cedar. And we drove all over. I made Jason help me. It was funny. Well, anyway, I did look at some other vendors just online, and I did find a price of $52 for that size banner. I know last time I had told you like 95. So the range is considerable. I think that we can find 52 or even 60 seems. I think, I don't know, the size is 18 by 30 is what I researched. So I think we're probably better in line at about $60 each. So that puts us at maybe, with an artist stipend, we could do both seasons for maybe $6,000 if you want to work on that, Jason. Finding out if we can find another funding source project. I know we still want to carry on with it, and the mayor still wants to do it, so it's just a matter of finding.
What's the cost of taking down?
That's a good question, because it would be, I believe, the parks. Oh, that would just be part of their. I don't know what they call the downtown maintenance situation.
Would that take like a day?
I would say probably half an hour, maybe.
You could ask Austin what he spends to put the baskets up. That might give him a good ballpark on how long it might take to put up banners.
The reason I ask is I still have it stuck in my head that it'd be cool to have that's
Mhm.
in town sponsor a banner. And so we have some sort of skin that we put over it. So it's a Sandpoint. Talks about the city of Sandpoint or what. But then they can design, pay for a banner. So then it's not out of the city's pocket. It gets them some exposure. And really our cost is taking them down. And is that for what that looks like, but shoulder season, it's
There's two nonprofits downtown. Two nonprofits in the city of Sandpoint. OAC and and the Music Conservatory. And they put banners out in front of their, not seasonal banners. They put banners out. Okay. If they've got them,
you mean like one banner per pole for a nonprofit or all the?
yeah.
yeah, that's one. So,
Yeah,
Well,
so
some couldn't afford it, and I guess how do we pick?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't,
well,
it's a great idea, but
yeah. That's
yeah, it'd just be a way for us to celebrate our nonprofits in
Right.
town, get them exposure for $52. I know our nonprofits don't have a lot of money, but
what about if we made a banner listing? So we have 150 active profits.
There's three, actually, I forgot about the Canada.
Yeah, there's 394 registered. There's 150 active nonprofits, so I was thinking about maybe the 150 putting them all on one, but I don't know, it's a sticky wicket. After serving on council, it's like I'm very wary of. Cause then some people might get mad and scream at us because only the bigger ones get theirs, and yeah. I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, I just want us to be cautious of that. Cause, yeah,
Yeah, I see where you're coming from too. I really like. I think it'd be an interest. Nonprofits to reach out to their donors and say, Sandpoint's doing a nonprofit banner month. Um, I think like the hospital foundation, something closer to the hospital, the Canada is a concern.
November is always the giving
Yeah.
Tuesday
Yeah,
month,
yeah,
and then
that
there's
would be it,
April
right.
that's also like a month focused on the Give and Idaho Gives.
Now,
Those are big fundraisers for them.
we get into is, you know, do they all need to be Sandpoint nonprofits? Where some
Needs
of
to be
these
like
fall,
Bonner County.
yeah, do they? Honor County, and is that something that? You know what I mean? Does it be very specific to Sandpoint? Say, you know, or maybe there's, say, an additional fee for side of point, but it's obvious Sandpoint.
Kate, how many nonprofits are there in downtown? Or
In downtown, or just, there's 150 active in,
Sample,
yeah,
Sandpoint?
Yeah.
right? But like the festival isn't really downtown, but it's in Sandpoint.
Sure.
Yeah,
What
you
about
know,
like
so you
Nixon
can.
Trust?
and-
Yeah.
now they are, because they bought the,
No, they've been,
Nixon Land
Yeah.
Trust,
Yeah.
Peddlers are Sandpoint.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I think you could pull together, you could pull together 50
Yeah.
nonprofits that would
Easy.
probably want to do it.
so I have a question. What, are you guys thinking there's gonna be like a unifying theme of all these banners, a single design that has different nonprofits logos on it?
That's what
So I love the idea of giving nonprofits the opportunity to their logos seen around town. Honestly, you'd probably able to find like, my guess is like the festival would love to use these. Just the festival, and they'd probably pay for the whole thing, but now
No, they
you've got just banners advertised at the festival, you know what I mean? Kind of like the Live Give campaign did last year, where they printed their own banners, put them up, they look great, they were up for months. But these, I assume, this could become an annual program or a one-off like it was last year. I think I love that this commission is thinking about how do we activate these banner locations, because I also agree, like, that's something we're not utilizing.
well,
When I go to
maybe
other
it would
towns,
be a,
Put your logo on a standard
right,
one.
I mean, maybe. it
Right,
would
there's
be
this
a-
Yeah.
banner.
A
You put your
beautifully
logo
designed,
on that.
well, you know,
Sponsored by.
summertime in Sandpoint could be the theme or something. And it's a cool single graphic design brought to you by, and then you've got maybe, I don't know, 10 different nonprofits who get 5 banners each, or 50
Have the
nonprofits who
nonprofits
get 1 banner.
apply for it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, we
Nonprofit
probably
apply
need
for it.
a solicitation, like put together a little marketing spiel and either a page on the website or push it out on social media, and we're like looking for nonprofit partners who want,
You and I
you
have
know,
a
recognition
conversation
in
about
downtown Sandpoint, summer 2026.
Well, I love, you know, when you're gonna be doing your, you know, the foundation, right, the hospital, you've got something for February, leading up into February for your heart ball or festival of trees, right? The festival of trees is an interesting one because there's more than one nonprofit that's included in there as well too. And that's maybe where you can have a dedicated festival of trees with all of the different nonprofits logos in there as well too. And then if you want to do like an awareness month, then you have a Sandpoint nonprofit awareness month. And you have those, you know, and it's on the nonprofit to keep their banners if they want like a festival. Right? If the festival wants to do it, or the Live 7B, they keep all of those. And there might be a partnership with the city, so it's not taxing our maintenance crew to put those things up, right? Is in Live 7B put all theirs
They
up.
put theirs on.
So, you know, that might be some, after you get through the liability stuff, I don't know what.
I mean, if your goal is to fill these banner holes, that's gonna be the easiest thing ever. You just go find a single company or nonprofit that wants that exposure. There's 51 free billboards around town.
It's huge.
Way extremely valuable. If the goal is for this to be like an Arts and Culture Historic Preservation Commission effort, this committee chooses what the art is going to be, and then you go out and seek funding for it from nonprofits. That should be easy as heck too. Because again, for $50 per banner, or even $100 per banner, you're getting a billboard in downtown Sandpoint advertising your service or your business.
And this is something that like a donor, I'd say, if this is your big sponsorship opportunity. Right, to would go after individual donors and say.
I mean, most nonprofits would be thrilled to get their logo on a banner downtown. It's not like they have to go out and ask their donors for it. They'll have some money for this sort of thing available. At least the one I used to.
A few would.
Yours had a lot more money than
Yeah.
most of them.
That's. a
All
little bit
good
of an outlier.
thoughts.
Well, and then, but just to piggyback on that though, but you also have some of the bylaws, you can't spend that money
Okay.
Depending on how they're written and how they're looking at it. As a donor, and I gave money to cancer, and I found out stuff was too.
Banners.
Billboards, banners, I might go, oh, okay, that's not.
Yeah, they'd have to have it.
And do we run afoul of the sign ordinance?
Well, we know because we have our sponsorship policy now.
Right.
So sponsorship, that's the only off premise advertising allowed at Sandpoint now is through sponsorship for public facilities,
Well,
which is why we didn't have a new baseball scoreboard at the
nice.
field. CCU gave 25.
I would like to circle back to what the mayor's original vision of this was. If he's just wanting a pop of color by local artists downtown, and I'm sure that he'll just defer back to us as to what's the best approach. My thought is maybe the best approach to start is to do maybe one seasonal banner of local artist. Get a feel for how it looks. Get people excited. If we have the budget for it, then we can delve in and then go to the nonprofits and say, look at this program that we have. Let's develop the program first. Because I feel like it's gonna get really bogged down if we're trying to get all the nonprofits together. I feel like we need to start the program and then.
And supposed to
And then
show them
expand.
what their options would
I think
be.
it's great.
That would be,
I think a
Great.
lot of nonprofits would be, like to have something.
once they see them.
Yeah.
Flag some kind, but I agree with you 100%. I think, yeah, let's start this way and go this way.
What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, it's a great idea.
So do you want to do like call for art and give the dimensions of the
Yes. That's what,
theme of the theme?
well, that's what we would, so Hilliard and Spokane, the Hilliard neighborhood did a call for art last spring. And, I can't remember if they had a theme, but, we could do a spring, summertime in Sandpoint theme or something like that. Because that's when we're gonna be able to have this finished, or, we're gonna use the winter to plan this and then get them printed and then probably for a spring install, right? So that would be a theme. I don't know, to you guys.
I like that.
Because I think that when the mayor, and we talked about it at first, we were thinking a summer theme and a winter theme. And then, of course, there would, in shoulder season, there might be 7B Gifts putting theirs up, and, there might be others who saw that as a great example, and maybe they're gonna think about that, doing that on their own.
Just using, just nonprofits. Is that what you're thinking? Or
No,
I would think, maybe
it
downtown,
could be anybody.
all First Ave,
Yeah.
with flags. Summer or something and advertise the town.
Yeah, just a nice pop of color,
Yeah.
Sandpoint theme, summer and Sandpoint theme, something like
Yeah, I think I like that idea. I think that it's more generic and it kind of goes with we'd like to do.
I didn't mean to distract us with the night. I thought we were gonna have our heads wrapped around this, and then I was throwing an extra piece in, so.
Thinking. Get money out of them, all of them. If I go around town and say, can you just please give me some money to, for the flag, but it's down there.
Yeah.
No,
Well, so,
I think fixing up the town is a great idea. And that's an inexpensive way to do it.
yes.
Advertise Sandpoint.
So what does everybody think about that? Jason, if we can find that budget to do our generic Sandpoint, but Sandpoint bright summer theme. And then we can hop off of that eventually.
But again, like, I wonder if the sponsorship approach could just pay for.
Okay.
The idea of nonprofits, or if we just did like an RFP or request for bids or something and said, look, we're looking for $5,000 to fund the downtown street banner program for next year. And we, HDCUs and the Coachella, local employers and the Festival of Sandpoint. Sure as well. And you got one nonprofit. Certainly be easier if you had one sponsor who was willing to fund the program. But maybe you have the city logo and the sponsor logo on there. That's not as cool as having 50 different nonprofits represented, but certainly when you print the signs, it's going to be cheaper to have a single sign that you have printed instead of 50 individual signs or 10 individual.
The cost
Five
goes up
each.
incrementally if
You're
you're
gonna
doing it
have,
that
I think, much higher cost if every sign is unique. So you gotta think about that as well. Has anybody done any research how what other cities are doing here? I mean, I can think of like Hudson Bend this spring, summer actually, and their signposts, but they're all like City of Bend, Oregon, like Summer in Bend, here's the it's whatever, but or it might have been their downtown business. So this is the perfect thing that a downtown
Right.
business association should be overseeing. We might even connect with DSBA and see if their 30 partners might want to fund this.
They're calling it DSBA again.
So I possibly, I recommend, I mean, Justin's in that group. I'm actually going to be attending their meetings. Going
Okay.
This information through community engagement.
Very good.
That was a workshop I went to in the APA last month. Start doing that better because just this week I found out about some misinformation that was shared at the last DSBA meeting that went viral on Facebook. So
Okay.
yeah, I'd say maybe DSBA would want to fundraise for this to pay for it. Like I don't know what the mayor's talking about. There's nothing in our budget for signage
Okay.
downtown Sandpoint. I mean,
Well, that's good.
he likes to say there's money available, and then he comes up to find it. Okay, well that
Okay.
means if it comes from parks, that's one basketball court strike next year. It's something
Right.
else that we'd have to
Okay.
give up. So this sort of thing seems great because that DSBA group is like the First and Second Avenue businesses.
Right. So they're a logical place to start.
They're struggling as well. It's the thing that can bring some vitality to the commercial district downtown. Benefit for them as well.
I think the money raising will be slow. For that group, typically what we do, like on our give back, is like 10% of your purchase goes to X, Y, and Z, and we've got to have a hook into the, to get them in. Say, okay, hey, this weekend, 10% of your purchasing is going to go to banners downtown to support my business. You know what I mean? Or take something like Apple Fest that's coming up, and we can have that conversation with them and say, hey, can you guys portion off a little bit of that money to help do it? I think they'd certainly get behind it. I just think might take a while on the funds too. But certainly.
Okay. And I think you mentioned another STCU. That's an avenue that we probably should pursue.
Maybe Columbia. Columbia took over again.
And by the way, yeah, if we're gonna do Columbia, we need to get with them here like in the next 30 days or so, because they're planning their donations
Oh,
right now.
America's
for,
already done theirs.
Yeah, so probably worth to see if we could get something. There'll be somewhere between 500 and $1,500.
oh, okay.
But I think with the name change, they might also be looking to get their name out there a little bit more.
Do you
Yeah,
have contacts?
yeah, I'll chat with, Celeste and.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have some homework to do to keep moving with this project.
Yes.
Do we need an action for this? Just. No? Well, if there's no other discussion, move on to the Cedar Street Public Art Commission planning. Cedar Street Public Art. So we talked about this a little bit last time. We want to put some art on Cedar Street. We do have $2,500 the Bonner County, it came from the Bonner County Fund for Arts Enhancement. It's the Gretchen Heller Grant, Memorial Grant. So we have $2,500 coming from that. And this project can also be, Sura, because it would be permanent public art. So where we left last time was, Jason, what are the ways that we can call for this art? We know that there's 3 ways we've done it before. We've done RFPs, which we put out a call for art. We've done commissions and we've done outright. I did chat with Eric Paul. He said that he doesn't mind how we do it as far as SUR is concerned, but we need to go by how the city wants to do it. As far as
The city,
procuring
as
things.
far as central services go, Cheryl's all about like equitable opportunity. So probably a call for art. Are you gonna be asking Sura for money to support this as well? Because the $2,500
Yes.
from this isn't gonna get you very much in terms
No,
of permanent.
we wanna go like $15,000.
So maybe the 2,500 could be like the artist stipend. Help with installation costs, like kind of, because ultimately we're supposed to recognize the Idaho Community Foundation for this. So. Yeah,
And-
probably. As this is a call for art, it's a pretty major opportunity and artists can get their. They display downtown.
Go ahead.
Good. There's 2 sculpturists in this town. And when we do, the box project, we've been getting some people from the area, from Washington, and Oregon. I think the thing that she and I talked about, do we want to talk to 2 local artists to see what they would do? Art Kubiak or, one of them, Dave Goddins is the other one. And so, it's dependent, does the city, do we have to do that call for art like we do for the boxes? I would think we used to, so I presume we still have to do it that way, right? Correct? Is that what he's saying? Yeah, okay, that's what he said. So let's call for art. So do we want to keep it local? Or do we want to keep it like the kind of call, if we put this call out, we're gonna get the same area, because it's, for our, that we get for our boxes. So is that pretty much? Can we just ask one of these 2 men to do it, or can we do that? I don't know. Doesn't
No,
sound
it's-
fair to me.
No,
Okay.
that's
All right,
where we're going with this is we.
okay, good. That's
We're
what I
gonna
think
need
too.
to do RFPs for all.
Just like we do the boxes. All right. And then we can talk about that.
Do you have a medium that you think is best for this location?
I'm
Stone,
sorry, what?
Medium.
bronze? What medium of?
Oh,
sculptures?
medium.
Because obviously you're not gonna, something like you,
No.
the
that's
silver
wood. We
box
wouldn't
type
want
art.
wood.
This has to be
Wood
much
because
more
it would be
substantial, right?
We don't want wood.
Yeah.
I think, maybe we should specify that in the RFP.
Bronze,
Bronze, yeah.
stone,
Yeah,
concrete,
right.
like what are the
But
mediums?
yeah, so that,
Bigger.
or if we, get somebody who does in a media that we don't particularly want to use, we don't accept that contract. That's how it's handled. Okay,
The 2 artists that you were thinking of?
the 2 that are in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, and.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because we would definitely send them, hoping one of them would do it,
Sure.
because it'd be nice if we had a local artist that's gonna be up there, because we don't have permanent local artists yet in town.
Yeah.
But,
Okay, well, now that we're clear that going forward, we're going to have to do RFPs for every piece of art. I anticipate we have to use these Sura dollars.
we gotta get
Go
it.
away.
I can see doing 4 RFPs a year. Going forward, so need to make it efficient. We need to find a good way to get the information out to the artists, and I do think that we need to go regional.
Yeah. I think we got great applications last time. Boxes. And also, there, just one more thing, there may be some more money for this from Gretchen's account. Because we only got that first money, it's been almost 10 years now. I think in there. Maybe some more, I haven't checked that out, but I will, but
Yeah, maybe you can follow up.
I'll follow up on that one and see if there's more money in that account.
Rick, you had-
Who is that silver box? It's like metal, medium. I think we've chosen him a couple times.
Dave, so,
Is that? And then he has big stuff too, right?
He does have some luck.
Yeah, he is. He's in the OAC.
There was somebody. East Coast.
Oh,
well.
oh,
Are you thinking of Kirk? Cease? He did welded metal and
There was just some bigger things in his portfolio that he gave us. One of them. So
Yeah.
not staying too. You know.
right. When I put together an email list of all of the artists we've ever. We would, yeah, who have ever actually applied.
Yeah.
Everybody I could find that who's ever applied to the Silver Box or anything, I have that email list. So,
So this can get back.
yeah, this can go.
That's perfect. Yeah.
You know, with a bigger budget too, you're gonna get
We wouldn't even,
ideas.
also, we wouldn't even probably consider something that wasn't piece that could go there.
Okay. All right, so I can see our way forward. We need to get an RFP. The only other thing is, we have used Cafe in the past to things out. That much more response or the cost, and the cost has gone up considerably for kind of programs that put out to artists. So I think that if we just organically and regionally with probably a good idea.
I think so. I think we've got enough now. I mean, I was really impressed when we did the box this time. We got so many good stuff. And don't you think?
yeah,
Really good stuff that we couldn't even use because we only had so many boxes. So I think our name's out there now. I think that we can get some people from, especially from the Washington area. Okay, so we had so many good pieces.
All right, sounds good. Great. I've got some homework, you've got some homework, and we'll get that going. All right, let's move on to historic preservation. The historic walking tour brochure, still working on it, getting there. I am, let's see, I'm gonna just bump up and say, for the summer historic downtown walking tour update. I'm actually giving a walking tour tomorrow for leadership Sandpoint. And so I'm going to try some new things. I'm gonna try a new starting point in front of McDuff's so that we can see across the way to the train station. So yeah, that's gonna be an experiment. Yeah. So Jason, is Bill, yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, so
Feel like it did.
I know that.
Are Tess and Veronica doing that one tomorrow?
yes. So I'm gonna do a brief history of Sandpoint ahead of time, and then we're gonna do the walking tour. We're gonna stop in the conservatory, we're gonna stop in the Canada. It should be good. And so I will be kind of my first walking tour. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, you'll be,
I hope so.
oh no, you'll be wonderful.
Like I said, we're starting at the hospital, so I've figured it would be the perfect perfect loop. Go look across, talk about the train station, town site, sort of thing. Then head down second to the conservatory, get back around to Canada, and then back around and then end with McDuff's, which would, you know. Yeah,
Who knows what?
it's on his way. You could maybe speak to the conference a little bit. You went to?
Yes. Went to the APA conference, Bill and I, in Nampa.
Oh, thanks, Rick.
There was some good sessions
There you go.
on downtown revitalization, on the Main Street USA program, which is one of the sessions Bill and I attended. I left kind of longing for Sandpoint to have a more active downtown business association that did engage in more of this sort of placemaking activity, activities, events, things like that. That's another reason I'm going to start attending these DSPA meetings. And it's a pretty small group right now. I know in the past we have had a much more active downtown business association. I've seen presentations on our internal drive here from like the early 2000s that where the downtown business association was like championing a vision for downtown revitalization, for example.
Right.
So there are cities in Idaho that have much more active groups that are leading these efforts. I really appreciate and respect what this commission's doing to try to get, you know, art downtown and the graffiti alley, and those are important projects. And I'm also thankful that we have funding through SURA to do some of that stuff, but some of these smaller one-offs like the banners, you know, I think that's why I brought up DSBA. Like that's kind of the perfect project for downtown businesses to spearhead.
Well, and Nampa's a good example. I grew up there. and
Oh, you
It was a pit.
Oh, they've done a beautiful
was,
job
uh,
downtown. Yeah, Bill and I, we were staying about a mile from downtown, and we walked in like I guess 3 times back and forth. Like we got a lot of steps going into downtown Nampa.
Yeah.
It's a really cool, chill place to hang out.
Yeah,
now.
now that
Really
they
good
put it-
restaurant scene and bar scene.
Yep.
Yeah, and their planning and community development department has had a big part in that. They have a urban renewal agency that has $22 million balance right now. So there's just like, you know, their city is more than 10 times the size of Sandpoint.
Yeah.
So are the money there. So I was also a little jealous that they've just got so much more resources in terms of city.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Well, let's welcome Bill Dean, Sandpoint City Planner. Thank you for coming. We just would like to get an update.
Sure.
on
Yeah,
What's going on?
yeah. Well, thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. By way of update, I want to show you a couple things. I just want you to see what I have on my screen. I think I mentioned last time that we could just run off and have city council and planning commission just adopt an overlay district and make it, very, very simple. But I don't think that's gonna be the best way forward. I think we need to have a contemporary, modern, approach to how this is done so that it has some durability to it. So that's caused me to have to do a bit of a deep dive on this very unglamorous portion of our zoning ordinance called the zoning administration. This is where the rules and everything about how we issue permits, how we go about the function of zoning in the city happens. So I've rewritten the entire thing, and I want to share with you where I am. I'm not finished, but it's basically I've had to create a new architecture for the code because I want to attach the historic preservation stuff to a more modern architecture. And I want to share that with you, and then talk a little bit about what one very specific thing this commission can help me do before I go to the next step, which is actually going to be, finishing this the zoning administration chapter and moving on to things like design guidelines. So I'll leave you with that in a minute, but let me show you first. Is there a way I can share my screen? Is there a plug-in that we can?
Share Zoom with Bill.
Let me see if I.
Oh, I have a Zoom. Just see if I can do that. Okay. Now I just want to share my screen. Is that better? Oh. So nice. I'm making noise. Trying to, Jason, but my ear. Speakers are off. Yeah.
No. It's someone else's computer. I think we're good now. Yeah, we're good.
So I can share my screen now? Alright, here we go. Just pull up. First of all, I want to share with you something in. Can you see this right now? I had to fill the screen with this because it's full on my screen. Well, what I want to share with you just basically, so you guys don't think I'm nuts. Is just basically how our zoning ordinance is organized. And in order for us to be effective with anything we do in the commercial, any place around the city, we have to make sure that it's organized correctly. And right here is basically your zoning ordinance. You've got this general zoning provisions, you've got commercial zoning, industrial stuff, and residential stuff, sign code, non-conforming, and down here is this thing called zoning administration. What zoning administration is basically, how does this chapter work? And what's interesting to me is this chapter is just missing, it's missing a lot of the basics in terms of just contemporary organization, the applicability, what kind of permits do we have as a city? How do you go about getting a permit? Who's the approval authority for the permit? That stuff is just scattered all over your zoning ordinance. So if you want to introduce the concept of certificate of appropriateness, for example, which is the common term we use in historic preservation to allow something to happen to a building, or the creation of a overlay district, the destruction of a historic resource, or any of that kind of stuff, you need to have your zoning administration chapter speak very clearly to how you go about doing that. So I would be remiss to just bring forward an ordinance that says, oh, here you go, here's your overlay. Move on to the next thing. we just don't have a very nice place to put it. So I'm going to share with you what I've been doing with this document. So this document is a rewrite of your zoning administration chapter. I've created new sections, 991 through 9914, and I reserve the right to amend these later today even. But I've gone through and written a whole new thing called purpose and authority, application filing fees and permit implementation, timelines, extensions, non-conforming provisions, public hearings, appeals, zoning and land use permits, administrative permits, historic preservation and certificates of appropriateness, enforcement penalties, administrative responsibilities, legislative actions, overlay districts, development agreements. 3/4 of which is not in there today. Okay, so we need to get this stuff in there. It's just an older code. It needs some help. So the reason why this seems like, oh gosh, we're not making progress, but actually we really are, is I put together really what the purpose and authority of the zoning ordinance is. We have now tables of what types of permits are. We call them out by name and we describe what they are. A list of all the permits that we have, including the new one we're adding here, certificate of appropriateness. We're adding this into the code. We classify these in terms of whether they're a land use permit or what's called a ministerial permit. what's called the legislative action. There's sort of three buckets of things that happen, and you're gonna be involved in all three. So it's nice to call out what it is. When you're rulemaking, you're doing one certain things, and instead of, there's a way about going about doing that. When you're issuing permits, they come in different flavors. So this table is gonna help us understand what those flavors are. So I'm putting it all on the table so it's easy to see, so code users can just open this up and say, oh, these are all the permits you've got here at Sandpoint. In here, overlay district, for example, this definition right now of what an overlay district is. That just sets up, the next stage, which is what's the review authority? Who, since we're gonna be in the business of issuing permits, well, who reviews what? So certificates of appropriateness, they may require action by the commission, which is gonna be most of the case. On site plan review permits, which is the principal land use permit in Sandpoint, if you want to build a new 7-Eleven, you want to build a new hotel, you want to build a new restaurant on a vacant piece of property or substantially alter one that's existing, you have to get the principal land use permit. That's called a site plan review permit. Okay, so there are scenarios, and the way this ordinance is going to work is that prior to doing that in certain areas, namely within the overlay area, you're going to have to get a certificate of appropriateness first before we can even get to that stage. So you're gonna have this commission weigh in and say, yeah, you're on the right track. This is gonna be acceptable. Given these guidelines that we're gonna adhere to. But we need this framework. First, right? So we have to understand, well, how do permits get issued? Let's label them correctly. Let's establish who the authority is for issuing a permit, and then build on that. So I've done a lot of work to create, who does the site plan review permit? Who does the site plan review permit when it's within an overlay district? What is the certificate of appropriateness? Who approves these? These are all the types of things that you'll be weighing in on when you review this chapter in full. Because I'm going to ask that you review this entire chapter, just because I think it's going to give you some context out of the whole of it works when you're looking at the stuff that's most meaningful to you, which I'm going to share with you. There's little placeholders down below. So when we get into application filing fees, like for any application, how do you file an application? What are the procedures? Are there fees? How is that, how is that dealt with? None of that's in the code. It's just sort of here and there, right? In the code, we're kind of updating it and making it very, very clear and abundantly just obvious what you have to do. Who's eligible for filing? When do you file an application? No matter what the application is. And we get into the scenarios, multiple permit applications. What happens if you have 2 or 3 at the same time? How is that handled? All these things that come up in our day-to-day lives, we're writing down, saying this is how you do it. The timing of when the payments are done. How do you deal with, refunds and withdrawals? All the sort of basic stuff the city has to have reduced to writing in order to be fair and transparent, consistent, and open about how we issue land use permits. The burden of proof, for example, it's not incumbent upon us to prove that we should issue the permit. It's incumbent upon the applicant to give us the stuff that we need to make the findings. Permit implementation, timelines, expirations, extensions. All of this stuff is relevant to these permits. These special new permits we're going to be adding. So again, we're going to be getting to the fun stuff very quickly, but we had to have this stuff in place first, because these questions are going to come up when we're issuing a certificate of appropriateness, or we're issuing, creating an overlay. Well, how do you implement the permits? What are the timelines? How do you deal with expirations and extensions? We can't just create that little microcosm just for the historic stuff. We need to just say, hey, this is how we do it as a city. And then the historic's gonna relate to that. The historic stuff is gonna reference these portions of the chapter. We have the effective dates, the validity of these permits. This has actually become an issue for the city in recent past with permits that really expired, but the code wasn't clear on when the expiry date was. So let's be really clear about it. It's not that hard to write down. So let's put it in the table and see, yeah. And this is what we mean by the effective date of a permit. It's like when Jason signs something, or after the appeal period runs, or after the written decision is done and 15 days past that. So I've done a lot of reading of state law, and I have a meeting with Fonda tomorrow to talk a little bit about a couple permits I have questions on whether they fall under the concept that state law creates in 67, 65, 35. Sorry. Big code now. So this here is intended to just create the list. For example, you see highlighted on the screen, written decision plus 15 days. Is that really the effective date of a certificate of appropriateness? Or is it more of the date that the approval is issued? I want to think about that some more, like when the effective date of these things are. So very much as I go through this, and by the way, there are lots of different ways you can organize a zoning ordinance, and I'm looking at a lot of the stuff is in my head, just having been a code user for a long time, but I'm looking at McCall, I'm looking at Boise, I'm looking at Nampa, I'm looking at Coeur d'Alene. I'm looking at some places in California that I'm familiar with that do an excellent job of this stuff and have renowned historic preservation policies and procedures in place. So I'm looking everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. But Boise is one I keep referring to most frequently right now, just not necessarily the way they've organized their code, but they've got some good concepts in there. I think they're very recently adopted stuff that I think is relevant. Nampa, since we were just there, is doing some excellent job with revitalization of that city and their downtown. So I'm curious, to how they've organized some of this stuff. Spoke with some of their planners at the conference, spoke with some folks in Caldwell as well about how they're organizing themselves. Talked to some veteran planners that have been in Idaho for decades working, and asking them, putting them down, saying, "Hey, I kind of see an issue here. What do you think?" And so, no community is safe from me trying to rob what I see in terms of what they've been implementing. But this definitely has my own flavor to it, just because Sandpoint is unique. Again, we get into time extensions. There's a whole thing about non-conforming provisions in the code. We need to just address and be very clear about what constitutes non-conforming, what doesn't. This comes up all the time. So again, we're adopting some common sense language that's largely borrowed from other codes, kind of tweaked a little bit by me, to help us just get there. All of this has an effect on what we want to do with the storm because it strengthens the whole. Public hearings, let's just clarify what requires a public hearing, what doesn't require a public hearing, how do we conduct a public hearing? The current code does have a lot of good stuff in there. I'm just tightening it up a smidge and just making it a little bit more sort of organized in the way we see codes written today. There's a big thing that was talked about at the conference, and this has been something that's been on my mind since the day I walked in this place. That is, the nature of how we make decisions. There was a huge case that came out of Boise this year. The Veterans Administration versus Boise. They had to do with a conditional use permit. Massive case. The entire legal update for the conference focused on one case only, that case. It was a case that Bonner County was recently reminded of painfully of how not to do it. And that is how and why a written decision is so important when making land use decisions. And the way that the code is worded, state code, the way it's worded, it suggests that any of the permits that are issued pursuant to this chapter, a lot of permits, to be done with a written decision. And if you don't do a written decision, you're in real. And that's the written decision has to be done well. It can't just be, for example, this particular case that happened in Boise, there was 4,000 pages of staff work, and that was reduced to a 1.5-page written decision. The court threw it out and said, look, don't have us search for, pearls of wisdom in a sea of, staff work. You've got to make these decisions tight and clear. So I'm gonna have a conversation with Fonda tomorrow about exactly what a certificate of appropriateness means in terms of the requirement for a written decision. I want to hear from her directly whether or not that's something that's needed to be done. I'm hoping not. But I want to have the dialogue with her. I just want to stay completely ahead of the curve on this. So we want us to be in a situation where we issue a permit, and then that permit is somehow challenged in a way that is. So none of this sounds like historic preservation, I know, but trust me, it's good that we're all, learning a little bit about this stuff and participating in how we organize this code. Because then when we get to the fun stuff of the district standards, now you're going to understand how you implement it and why it's so important to get this stuff done. So I know it's not fun, but That's really important. So then the appeal stuff, now we're getting to zoning and land use permits. Initial use permit, all the procedures, the findings that are required to approve this thing, the written decision, recent statement stuff I'm gonna put in here. Then we get on to site plan review permit. That's a big permit that you're gonna be involved with. You know, what's the intent of that permit? What are the findings, the applicability and when it's required? All the procedures. The certificate of appropriateness. I'm starting on writing this today. I'm gonna work on this particular piece today. Although I think I might move it out of, I think I might move it away from zoning and land use permits and put it in its own category of historic preservation. And the reason why I say that, still debating this, but the reason why I say that is because historic preservation's got a lot more to it that needs to be described in the code in terms of purpose and intent. And these permits kind of speak to that purpose and intent a little more closely than other permits. So I'm kicking around the idea of just having all things historic pulled out in this chapter, but kind of grouped together a little differently. Just working on that. It's called me in. This is just some redlining, taking old code out. I'm not salvaging really anything from the old, except for maybe some of the development agreement stuff. But that's where we are. I'd say I'm probably 70% of the way through this, in terms of just organizing this and rewriting it. And as soon as I'm done, we'll move on to the design guidelines. The way this, again, just as a reminder, the way I visualize this working is that we're going to ask City Council adopt an ordinance that creates historic overlay, a downtown overlay. Both of those are subsets of commercial A zone. Right now, you've got one flavor, by the way, is really similar to the other two flavors of commercial. Commercial A, B, and C, there's not a lot of difference there, right? And just, we've talked about that last time. There's really not a lot of difference between those zone districts. So we're going to use this overlay tool to have it associate with the adopted historic preservation district. There's going to be probably, I'm going to advocate for a larger downtown district. It's got some downtown design standards that are a little bit different, not necessarily specific as historic stuff. And that's how we're going to progress as a city. The piece that I want to, does that make sense, everybody, that what I'm saying so far? Okay. I want you to feel like we're making progress. I may not feel like it yet, but you're here looking at this new code that, you know, be adopting. It's going to be addressing this stuff. What I could use help with is a really tough issue. Again, I'm not interested today necessarily, unless I'm directed otherwise, to change or modify the boundaries of the historic preservation district that's already been, you know, fussed over for a long time in this community. I'd rather get all this stuff on the books and then start tweaking that stuff later, because I'm afraid if we start tweaking on that, I'm never going to be able to get to this stuff. Just get it in place, and then we can always change and modify, expand. Now, having said that, like we talked about last time, there's a portion of First Avenue that's not included. It's the stuff that's basically, you know, surrounding the Canada north up to the bridge. It's not on the east side of First. In the historic district, we're going to be having building heights that are different from the rest of commercial A. Commercial A can go to 65 feet. I'm going to be producing a draft of guidelines. I believe are probably going to speak to something being a little bit more historically accurate in terms of building height for the stuff that's within the overlay. Whether or not that implicates the downtown district at large, a smaller height, I don't know yet. But certainly for historic, which raises the question, I want you to start thinking about what would be an appropriate building height for the district and on the east side of, First. This is really important. Like when we design cities, when we build cities, it's really about the measurements of spaces. The cities are a lot of things, right? But in terms of what we're talking about, it's measurements of spaces, especially in historic. more than anything, it's about the measurements of spaces, right? So let's get our measurements right. Okay, this design guidelines, I don't know what these measurements are gonna be. I'm gonna need a lot of help from this commission on what it is. I'll put together a draft and you guys can tell me, no, building, this measurement should be this measurement should be that. What we're really talking about, a lot of this is gonna be the measurements of our spaces, right? So, I mean, after all, the city is the relationship between measurements of its spaces and it's really what. So now we're about to make some new decisions. What are these measurements? So I need you to begin thinking about what would be appropriate. Talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, talk to business owners. At some point, we're gonna have a rip the Band-Aid off moment where we talk about what these building heights be. And it's, in this particular context, this is a bit of a trick question too, because we know that construction costs on the east side of First are prohibitively expensive. What does that mean? And, we have to be mindful of that, right? So there's no monopoly on good ideas. Let's all start thinking about this. This is going to be one of the biggest drivers of some of the tension is going to be building heights. I think within the district, it's going to be probably less so. Although I'd say the second piece is, before we go and adopt anything, we're going to do some outreach with property owners in the district. And I could use as much help as possible. I mean, Jason probably knows most of them, but at some point, once we get a little more meat on the bone with this ordinance, we have a bit of a draft of guidelines. I want to bring all the property owners together and say, hey, look, this is what we're up to. This is what we've been, tasked with doing. This kind of here's where we are. This is starting to make some sense. In order to get to that point, I want to have a lot of clarity with this group on what does it take to, have your property listed or not? What does it mean to be in the district? We're gonna spend a session. Maybe the next time we meet, we'll talk a little bit about that, what it means to be in the district and what it doesn't in terms of land use authority and regulation. Just a little reminder, because there's degrees of education here. It can be all honorific like it is today, or it can be, thou shalt not paint over your beautiful brick building rules, sorry. No, it's so there's a pendulum there we want to get right. So I think maybe, Jason, what we do next time is just remind ourselves of what the range is within that pendulum swing. Target this ordinance, these guidelines, in terms of requirements versus, suggestions, things like that. That and building heights, I think I really want you to start thinking about what would be an appropriate, to give you a reference point. We measured, I should have brought these measurements with me. We went out and measured a number of buildings a couple weeks ago. I think the Canada is, I measured everything from parking lot against Sand Creek. That's where I took my measurements from. I did that for various reasons, but I just was curious about that. And the buildings there range in height from that vantage point, feet up to 20 feet. So 70 feet, but I haven't written down in my office. But I want you to start thinking about that.
Yeah, I'd like to know what those measurements are, especially like Jennings Alley. What is it from the
parking
east
lot.
side and what is it from street level? That's what I want to know.
And I have some of that data. Share that. I should.
Because that helps me visualize.
Yep.
Mhm.
Right now, the commercial A allows in certain circumstances up to 65 feet, which is a lot taller than anything that's on First currently, right? There are rules after you get to 45 feet, you have to step the building back and things like that. So this is going to be a driver conversation, right? We'll send out via email probably what those building heights are.
Okay, great.
So you have some of that, and I want you to begin thinking about it as a commission. Again, I'm the scribe, right? I'll bring some context, I'll bring some ideas, but in the end, this commission is going to be putting that number down. It's going to be based on everything we do together to arrive at that. And if you have ideas of how we should arrive at that. So, but that's sort of the update of where we are, Chair. So I think that we're, of course, I'd love to just be sequestered away all day long doing this, but it's tough work because I do have a lot of interruptions. There's just other things going on as well. I'm pleased we've made this much progress.
Yeah, great job on progress you've made so far.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that you're looking at other Idaho cities that have success, because I think Idaho might be. Idaho is Idaho. It's unusual in itself, and we have certain challenges, and I think that. Great. Good.
Yeah.
Any questions for Bill?
I know.
Okay. We appreciate your work.
Sure, yeah. Here, if you have questions,
So much.
right, I'm gonna sit back and get at it. All right, thank you so much. You're welcome.
Well. All right, then, I think we did it, getting through all of our. That we needed to talk about, so let's move on to commission business, in general. I did want to bring up the email that Tammy sent yesterday regarding the mayor and council, initiative. I just wanted to say, I feel like as the commission that's been doing the work, we probably are fine. We've been doing it. However, if you guys will spend some time going over anything you want to. Instructions, and Jason, did you have any other comments on that?
No, I appreciate this commission.
Thank you. I tried. All right, well then, if there's no more questions on that, let's move, oh, actually, Rick, are there any updates? Have you done any meetings for the downtown station phase 3 yet?
Ollie was on. He's
Okay.
in the, right, I think we have engaged Welch Comer and GGLO. So
Okay.
they were awarded the contract for it.
Hmm.
It's gonna be a while before they have any, well, I don't know about a while. Not sure if all the contracts are inked at this point, but they have like part of their proposal was to oversee community engagement. So they've actually got somebody on their team who's their like outreach and community engagement professional. So coordinating with the city, but there's going to be by later this fall and early winter, some actual like outreach that's organized by Welch Comer's team. So Welch Comer is the engineering firm out of Coeur d'Alene that got the contract. They are the premier downtown revitalization firm in the state of Idaho. They just finished the Main Street revitalization in Ketchum, and they had previously done the kind of, well, what street would that be? I forget what street that is, Sun Valley Way. I think the road that connects Ketchum to Sun Valley. They did like that revitalization a few years ago, which turned this like giant state ITD corridor into like a pedestrian shopping district with parking in the middle of the road. So they did like middle of the road parking. Actually, that's not on the main drag. That's on one of the side streets in downtown
Okay.
Ketchum. Took like 100-foot right of way and like completely redid it into this beautiful, like kind of like open air shopping mall with like 15-mile-an-hour speed limits and angle parking, and just brought all the businesses that have sprung up around there. So Welch Comer, GGLO's Mark Sindel, who won the design competition. So we're moving forward with the team that won the downtown design competition, which is pretty cool. So they've already got a concept to go off of. Now they're going to go into engineering and design for that.
Wonderful.
And on their team is it's a firm out of Spokane that Welch Comer, I think, owns or acquired, that does specifically like community outreach and engagement. So they have like a professional that's going to be doing all that. So they're still getting organized. Ollie's been out for a week. So, and the main focus in the public works team right now is the wastewater bond.
Right.
Yeah.
That's coming up in 3 weeks. So once that's behind us, I think the attention will turn to. Yeah. And another, just an update from the park side, we just on Friday closed the submission deadline for the RV campground.
Oh,
And I haven't even seen who they are, but we ended up with 5 or 6 submittals for that.
wow.
Which for downtown revitalization, we only had 2. So we have $1 million budget for the RV park rehab, all from a state grant, except for $50,000 match. We added into the scope of that a redesign of the city beach parking lot, not the park itself, but the parking lot to improve traffic flow, utilization of the spaces there and improved, access to the boat launch. So we're going to be looking at possibly bulbing out by the boat launch so there's less conflict between pedestrians and parkers or people launching boats. And with that, that's not a funded project for construction yet, but with the design being included in the whole RV park design scope, we hope we can have that design as a bid ready submit grant applications this winter. So, and if the hotel ever moves forward, they're going to be paying $400,000 towards parking lot improvements there. Don't know this, they're just still like, seem to be struggling to get together the money to build that hotel. So
Is
there's,
it because of the new impact fees or?
it's like less than 1%, you know, that's like, yeah, less than 1% of their project cost is impact fees. It's $100 million project. And they
Yeah, I
just don't,
thought they.
yeah, they don't
had
have the financing all figured out yet.
Mm.
So that's why they keep going back and forth about maybe including condos on the top floors, because they can like sell condos, so they can, if they can sell $32 million condos, they're $60 million for their project. Right? For $100 million project. If they don't have any condos to sell, they're putting a lot of their own skin in the game, and then the payback period's gonna be a lot longer. It's harder to, I mean, once you have a hotel, it's easy to make money, but building it's the hard part.
Ambitious.
So the hotel is closed right now, as you've seen, there's barriers out in front of it, so from the city standpoint, that hotel is the single largest generator for our local option tax revenue.
Yeah.
So for the couple years ahead, the city's gonna be down several $100,000 in tax revenues that pay for public safety, fire and police is paid for out of that tax and street improvements. So we're gonna be a little thin for the next couple of years. We're hoping that, you know, something happens there.
Yeah.
Or if nothing else, maybe they remodel or reopen the existing hotel so we can at least have that lodging revenue in place for people to stay in
Yes.
Sandpoint. Because where are the other hotels in Sandpoint?
Yeah.
America's best quality inn on Fifth Avenue.
Cedar Suites.
Best quality, that's
it.
yeah.
Cedar Street Suites, that's it.
That's it. There's not much else.
The hotel needs to be.
So does. I
It's
guess.
yours.
It's America's
Alright.
best quality.
No.
That's, oh, that one. You mean the one at Vinci?
Edgewater,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, thanks for
There's
that.
another one at
The
Mickey's.
yellow one. It's
Yes, so we should all.
All right.
it's like Orwell.
Let's move on to any announcements then. The announcements for things coming up, we're kind of at a.
Hospice is having its annual rose sale on November fourth.
My favorite.
And
time of
that's its
year.
big fundraiser of the year. It's $25 a dozen. It'll be in the new medical building right in the lobby. Yeah, it's November 4th from 8 AM to 5 PM. The hospice
Oh.
rose sale. Yeah.
Yes,
So buy everybody you know roses.
indeed.
I'll deliver them.
Speaking of fundraising events, I have a plug to make. If you are involved with any nonprofits that are looking to host a seated or standing, whatever kind of fundraiser, the James E. Russell Sports Center is now available. We got for covering 2 weeks ago, which is a really heavy duty vinyl. It's really nice. It came on big rolls. We can now cover one of our tennis courts. Yeah, it's
Sandemonium.
great. We can host seated, over 200 people can be hosted seated. You've got the community room for setup, for catering, for example, you can have caterers working out of community room and serving people on tables in the on court. So it's
Can't
about
do it.
7,400 square feet of event space.
Can't do it this year for the heart ball, but maybe in the next year. Sandemonium
Mhm.
is looking for a large space to do things.
I saw something at the library for that.
They just had it last
And
weekend.
it was
Why?
Yeah.
too
It's too small.
small.
They've outgrown their space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Where do you go to
I
get
told them-
costs?
You just pop in and run Sports Center.
I told
We
them to call.
we don't have a fixed cost figured out yet. We're kind of working on it event by event. And we have posted a large, we literally got this in 2 weeks ago. So we
What's the
haven't
capacity?
established. What's,
Many.
yeah, you could seat over 200,
Seat over 200.
Yeah.
Okay, so more than.
more than that for standing.
300.
I mean, it's 7,400 square feet. It's a large space. That doesn't include the community room. The community room's another. So.
Staging.
Did we make any progress on allowing alcohol there?
Yeah. That's on the agenda tomorrow night. Been delayed a couple times now. But yeah, ordinance comes to council tomorrow night. So if it gets approved tomorrow night, then special events can hosted, special events at Sports Center can have catered on. Just like you can at Farm Park and. More.
Great. All right, thank you, that's good. Any other events coming up? right, then I think we're done. Thanks, everybody. We're adjourned.
So
We hope that's not it.